Okay, this is the beginning of the last section, Eat Live. And the first module here is how alive is your food? And I really want you to think about that and consider the fact, as we've considered in various ways, the vitality or the life force that is actually in food. And I want you to consider that your digestion is actually the process of translating that life force into more life force, right? And so whether or not you're eating animals, plants, grains, legumes, anything that you eat has come from the earth and has some form of energy. It had some form of growth, some form of life. And the closer you can get to consuming it in that state, the more nutrients it contains, the fresher it's going to taste, the better it's going to be. So you look at, say, the tulips. I'm not going to eat the tulips, but the tulips are alive. They are vital, and they have about them a certain vibrance, a certain glow that inherently, as things die and get older, they lose that, right? So you can really think about that and what something actually looks alive as a very real way to judge the food you're eating, right? So think about the food you've eaten today, the food you ate yesterday, the food you will eat for the rest of the day, and ask yourself, how alive does that food just appear, And this can even go for processed foods. I think about something like an Oreo versus something like a chocolate chip cookie that was baked by my niece, right? Now, in some deep sort of metaphorical sense, that chocolate chip cookie truly, to me, seems more alive than the Oreo, right? So you can take it into this more metaphorical zone, which I often do use to apply a lens to certain things. Cooking is something that reduces the alive quality of food, right? And we have to consider how we are using cooking to degrade the nutrients and to sort of to destroy the life force in certain foods. Now, there's reasons to cook, of course. It helps us digest, it helps us do different things, it tastes good. But there are also times when things can be overcooked. So maybe your grandmother was like mine and would boil all her vegetables until they were kind of turning brown, right? Like the green beans would be like really losing their color and boiling them in the water. And that trend has swung the other way now, right? And they're all trends, but we're at the other phase now where you go to a restaurant and it will have been lightly steamed and they often still have some crunch to them because people, I think, are really sensing and really desire that aliveness in their food. So look at your meat when you're eating it, right? I give a talk about this a little bit in the fish section, like how alive is your fish, really, truly. And then trust yourself, and this is really the exercise for this module, is to trust yourself into the metaphorical, right? Meaning, you're asking this question, how alive is my food? But trust yourself to really determine, that food truly seems alive to me. It makes me feel alive, right? And that could be a brownie, it could be anything, or it could be scrambled eggs, or it could be, any sort of food. But try this today with the food you're eating. How alive does my food look? How alive does this food seem? Because chances are that amount of aliveness is probably what you're ready to channel, right? That's the amount of energy or the type of energy that you're going to be producing consuming those products, right? So, yeah, ask yourself the question.